Hello, everyone. Welcome to my talk on real-time data processing and analysis in capital markets. I am Fahad Shah, a developer advocate at Rising Wave Labs. About me. So to share a bit about myself, I have been with Rising Wave Labs for over a year and a half. I'm based in Pakistan, and I'm deeply passionate about real-time data, real-time data analytics, stream processing, iceberg-based lake houses, industrial IoT, and data-intensive applications. I focus on bridging developer education, community building, and modern data infrastructure. So a bit about today's session overview. So today's session focuses on building a robust pipeline to ingest, analyze, and process real-time data streams. We will be using a data generator that simulates real-time events like trades in capital markets. Solis, an enterprise-grade event broker for low latency and high throughput trading, and Rising with a cloud-native streaming database for real-time insights and decision making. The purpose is to deliver actionable insights and closed feedback loop and to send the process results back to Solis for further consumption by downstream systems and applications. So capital markets demand ultra-fast, real-time data processing, and the use cases include risk management, monitor exposure, trigger alerts, enforce dynamic risk limits in real time, and alert on systematic threats using real-time data processing, portfolio monitoring, track live valuations, combine live and historical data for portfolio insights, compliance, real-time audit trails, monitor trade volumes and price anomalies using real-time data processing like using Rising Wave, and live trading, subsequent decision making use VWAVE, HLOC. So these are various metrics, and anomaly detection for quick trade decisions on a trading floor, and global distribution. Solis ensures low latency data of movement across trading hubs, and its use of hierarchical topics minimize latency. So now the pipeline architecture. Here is a high-level overview of the whole pipeline. So a data generator produces simulated results. Then Solis pops up, receives and distributes these events, and Rising Wave ingests and processes the results and send the insights and the results back to Solis topics. And so that's the whole pipeline. So we have a live data trading system, and we get and they send the trading data to Solis, and from Solis we ingest the data into Rising Wave. And in Rising Wave we perform real-time analytics to generate actionable insights, and we send those results into Solis, and end user systems can rely on those results from Solis to create like for downstream applications and creating real-time dashboards. A data generator. So we simulate a real-world market scenario that include like stock trades, volumes, different trading volumes and anomalies. Our data generator supports high frequency output with a configurable parameters. And that's a sample. This one is a sample message from our data generator. We send these type of messages into Solis topics. And the frequency of the data generator is tunable, so we can tune it. In this case, we are using for our case, we used 100 events per second for illustration. Now, let me give you an overview of a Solis PubSub. So Solis, it is the backbone of our messaging layer, and Solis is widely used in the capital markets use cases and scenarios. So it supports various protocols: MQTT, REST, WebSocket, AMQP, and JMS, and Spring. It guarantees message delivery and filtering, and it is built for enterprise-grade reliability and scale. And it is absolutely perfect for high-frequency trading scale. So it is used widely in the high-frequency trading systems. Now, let me give you an overview of Rising Wave. So Rising Wave is a streaming database that is Postgres compatible. And nowadays, people use Rising Wave for building streaming lake houses based on Iceberg or Delta Lake. And it is great for event-driven apps and continuous analytics, a real-time ETL, for feature stores for AI applications. And you can extract messages and data from event streams, different message brokers, Kafka, MQTT, etc., and various databases like Postgres, MySQL, MongoDB, etc., time series data even, and it combines batch and streaming into a single unified engine. So you can use it for. So it combines batch processing and stream processing. So it provides you with a unified engine. So that's all about Rising Wave, and that's the high level overview of Rising Wave. Now, setting up a Rising Wave. Now, how you can set up Rising Wave? So for this purpose, you have to, for the purpose to bring data into Rising Wave, you have to create a source table in Rising Wave for the purpose to read data from various upstream systems. So in this case, we will create a source table that ingests all the data from Solis topics using MQTT connector. And a topic, we will give a topic name, URL, and a credentials, username, password in the format. And then afterwards, we will create a bunch of materialized views based on our source table for real-time analysis. And these run continuously. Those MVs run continuously and provides a very low latency. Now, the capital market scenario that we are considering. So we have so let's walk through the flow. So actually, we have a live trade data that is being generated and sent to Solis event broker. And from Solis, we ingest all this data into Rising Wave, as I said, creating a source table in Rising Wave that ingests all the data from various topics of Solis. Then in Rising Wave, we use Rising Wave is Postgres compatible. It means you can use a simple SQL for real-time analysis, for real-time analytics. And in this case, to compute various key metrics like VWAP and price volatility, high, low, trade prices, etc. And afterwards, we will send the results back to Solis using sync connectors for the purpose to send the result outside the Rising Wave. We create syncs, and we will create sync based on MQTT connector. So these insights those insights, they will further trigger like automated trading, or for creating a real-time dashboards and charts using Grafana, Superset, etc. So the purpose is to create to have a real-time decision making in case of high frequency trading environment. So that's the whole purpose. So now the key benefits for capital markets of this pipeline is to have a unified batch and streaming platform, and to perform a real-time trade detection in case of any kind of anomalies, and to have perform a real-time analytics to understand various metrics that are essential, the key metrics, and with a very low latency, sub-second latency, and a very high, the ability to have a very high scalability, to be scalable to millions of events, even millions of events per second, with a cloud native and cost-effective architecture. So that's all about. Now, as I said earlier, that we use source table to bring the data into Rising Wave, and in Rising Wave we create materialized views for real-time data analysis. So let me give you an overview of MVs. So MVs, they store pre-computed query results. So they are for faster query performance and lower compute cost, because you don't need to compute the results all the time. You just need to perform the computation and the data is as a new data comes in, and it is ideal for real time in high volume analytics in this particular case. And it is one thing, MVs, they are native to Rising Wave, so they will have a stream semantics like windows, watermarks, and they provide a very strong consistency guarantees. So MVs are the cornerstone of efficient real-time data analytics in Rising Wave. Now, as I said earlier, that for the purpose to bring data into Rising Wave, that we will need to create a source table. So that's the definition of source table, how we create a source table. So we create a create a table, market data, with these fields, date, symbol, and it's a data type. So we have a field name and a data type. Then we have a date with a data type, date, symbol, varchar, the variable char. So date, symbol, ask price, bid size, trade size, exchange, currency, time, trade price, ask size, and bid size. And we are using the MQTT connector. So that's the topic, Solis topic, and that is the URL of a Solis event broker, the username, the password, and a type of a delivery guarantee. So we have at least once. So that is how we create a source table in Rising Wave. Now, after creating a source table, that we will create a different materialized views for different types of like computing the various important aspects. Okay. So this MV, this MV combine date and time into a single time stream and simplifies a field structure for real-time access. And this MV is created based on the market data source table. It's very simple. Now this MV, we name this MV minutely market states MV. And this MV calculates price range, average price, standard deviation, a high low, and we are using a 1 minute time window. Now this MV detect anomalies in trades. So identified trades where size exceeds by 2 standard deviations in the last 5 minutes. So to find out like anomaly trades. We use this MV, VWAP, minutely MV, to calculate, to rank stocks by the minute level VWAP and calculate is weighted average of trade price. Similarly, we use this MV, exchange states minutely MV, to aggregate high, low, average trade prices and total volume per exchange. So it's very simple. Create materialized view, exchange states minutely MV, and select exchange maximum, minimum, average, sum per exchange. Okay. Now feedback loop to Solis. Now the final step is closing the loop. Process data is sent back to Solis for downstream consumption. So for the purpose to trigger buy sell actions and update trading dashboards. So this makes the system truly reactive and real time based on the insights that we have extracted from the data in Rising Wave. So for this purpose, we will have to create sinks, and those sinks send the results, the process results from Rising Wave into Solis topics. So we create this one, create a sink, market states MQTT sink based on this materialized view, and we are using the sink, the MQTT sink connector. This topic, the URL of Solis event broker, the credentials, and the delivery type. Similarly, we will also create sinks for sending like this, for sending the results from this MV, outlier detection MV, we have minutely MV, and exchange states minutely MV. So all these MVs send the process results from Rising Wave into Solis topics. So now let's discuss the key takeaways from all this. So we have used Solis, and Solis ensures reliable and scalable messaging. And Rising Wave offers a real-time SQL-based analytics. You need just a SQL for the purpose to perform a real-time analytics and to extract insights from real-time data. And together they enable a closed-loop real-time data pipeline for capital markets. And next steps that we can explore like more complex joins, multi-joins, multi-way joins, the various types of windowing functions, UDFs, the user-defined functions, and experiment with scaling and performance. Similarly, we can extend this same architecture to other use cases like IoT, crypto, and fintech. So thank you, and join our community, our Slack community, to continue exploring the future of real-time data analytics, and let's build the streaming lake house together. So feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and please join our Slack community.
Hey everyone, we'll get Fahad in here. Looks like he entered. If you could unmute. Looks like your video is trying to start up.
Hi everyone. Yeah.
Hi Fahad.
Yeah, hi,
thanks for joining for the live session.
Thank you.
I don't see any questions in the Q&A. I myself have not used Rising Wave, but I have heard a lot about it. So I guess the main thing is it primarily for to be able to do the analytics? It's using a SQL-like language, correct? In general?
Exactly, you are right. A Rising Wave is a streaming database. So so you will be using SQL for the purpose to perform real-time data analytics, stream processing. So just simple SQL. You just I will just simple SQL. Anybody will be able to extract insights from the real-time data. So that's all about like that's the basic idea behind
They said,
Rising
yeah.
Wave and the Postgres functionality of Rising Wave.
But then there's some additional semantics added in that are required for things for streaming, like windowing, that you wouldn't normally
Exactly,
put. Yeah. So
exactly.
any of those things that require that are specific to streaming are the added capabilities on top of simple SQL queries.
Yeah, absolutely. The Rising Wave is actually, as you said, the Rising Wave is a database, but this database is actually optimized and designed for stream processing use cases. So we have a time window functions, watermarking, and all those like guarantees, exactly once guarantees, and apart from this, like we have all these real time semantics. So all those things are built into this Rising Wave.
Into the engine. That I mean, that is what the engine does, is it interprets those SQL queries
Exactly.
and finds ways to execute. Do you, I guess people might not be as familiar with Rising Wave. In this particular example, I think you were connecting to MQTT. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, I was connecting Solis with Rising Wave, and for the purpose to connect Solis with Rising Wave, I was using MQTT as a connector. So
As the
I
connector,
was
yeah.
using exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But just like most of the streaming compatibility spaces, is Rising Wave also compatible with Pulsar? And I'm assuming Kafka. And is there a whole host of connectors then to be able to get data in
Yeah,
live?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Rising Wave supports Kafka, Pulsar, and all those message brokers out there. So yeah.
Yeah. How about do people use Rising Wave with CDC at all for analytics?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. CDC use cases are quite famous. So Rising Wave supports like a native integration with a transactional databases like Postgres, MySQL, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very famous for CDC use cases.
Okay. By the way, to everyone listening, these are not pre-populated questions that I'm coming up with. I work at Stream Native, the host of the conference. So I also work with all of our connectors, and I have to make sure all of the systems integrate together. So I just want
Yeah,
people who are listening to be aware, because you talk about one specific connector, but for people who are interested in doing this type of analytics and to be able to use a SQL type language, I just want to make sure they're aware that your system probably works with a whole host of connectors to get data
absolutely.
in. Yeah.
Absolutely. Recently, I had a chance to collaborate with the Stream Native. So I wrote a blog that did involve ingesting data from Pulsar from
Mhm.
the Stream Native engine into Rising Wave and then performing like a real-time analytics based on their data. So yeah,
Okay.
so Rising Wave supports a host of um, source systems as well as downstream systems.
Did you connect
So
to
we
one of
have
your Stream Native cloud clusters, like a hosted or a serverless cluster?
yeah, actually I was using the serverless cluster.
The serverless.
So it
Okay.
was yes,
And then did you connect
serverless.
with Pulsar or Kafka protocol? Because I think they should both be working on serverless.
Yeah, actually I was using the Kafka protocol. So
Kafka
I
protocol.
relied on the protocol.
Yep. So yeah, they should both work with our clusters.
Yeah.
Um, anything else you want to let our users know about Rising Wave? Oh, actually, here we have someone say the scalability story of Rising Wave. I know in the so or sorry, maybe you don't have your Q&A up, But someone just posted, "What is the scalability story of Rising Wave?" And I think you addressed specifically the latency issue, or latency because of pre-computed things. But what about scalability? Is this specific question?
Yeah, I think scalability is also very much important for the streaming systems because streaming is I think is 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 nowadays so much critical to the whole organizations because the whole organizations and the whole pipelines rely on stream processing tools. As we are rising with uh, that has been used in a very large scale scenarios, and we have a bunch of companies that are using Rising Wave at a very the huge scale.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
So
think there won't be like Rising Wave is I Rising Wave
yeah.
is scalable. Yeah,
So someone posted also in the chat, excellent talk. I wasn't aware of Rising Wave. We'll look into it more in depth. The reason I brought up the questions I did about connections and the fact that it's SQL, primarily SQL based to query, is because I wasn't aware of it until maybe a year and a half ago. I think the in-person streaming summit, which it was Pulsar Summit back then. I think there was a
yeah,
panel on different ways for stream processing, and obviously things like Flink and Spark are well known. But I think either your CEO or your founder, if I recall correctly, I hope I'm not getting the
yeah.
person wrong.
Injun, I think
Yeah,
Injun participated.
was he a speaker on
Yeah,
the panel, I think, a year and a half ago or so? And I remember thinking that was a really neat idea to be able to query simply with SQL queries, um, and kind of the whole engine is based around that. I don't know as much about the underlying part of the engine, but I know that that was the basis, and to be able to write SQL as the way to query everything. So that's why I wanted to make sure anyone who was listening to the talk was also aware um, that you did talk about the SQL queries that you were using, but that is one of the main features of the engine, is to be able to query your data with SQL. Um, and that's why I brought up also the connectors, because I want people to know that you guys do interact or worked with a lot of other systems as well.
yeah. One thing I would like to share about Rising Wave because everybody is talking about Iceberg and the lake houses. So
Mhm.
Rising Wave also like natively support Iceberg, and in we have a feature like Iceberg table engine. So you can create like tables in Rising Wave, and those tables and the data that are sent to those tables are instantly available in the Iceberg. So we have a kind of like enabling our users as well as like a people to build a streaming lake house on top of Iceberg using Rising Wave. So that's the future we are really excited about and really looking forward to.
And that is kind of the interoperability
Yeah,
as well. Instead of having to use
exactly.
connectors all the time, Stream Native is moving in that direction. I think everybody is, where
Yeah,
you
the
can,
OSA engine. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we are also,
where you can reduce the number of copies of data you have, use
absolutely.
cheaper storage, because with everyone trying to get costs down using everything in object storage, if you can do a little bit of latency trade-off, um, that's that's definitely going to help with the cost. So uh, I think that's all we have time for. We have about 1 minute left. So thank you so much for coming to the presentation, and also for coming to the live Q&A, and also for letting people know a little bit more about Rising Wave, who might have not known as much about it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and it was
Yep.
a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Thank
Bye-bye.